Hello, I'm Donna Owens, and I'm with Paw Matt, and I'm doing a little demonstration today on grooming a geriatric dog. So geriatric dogs are more challenging than your average dog. This is a little Maltese, so one of the things you want to be aware of is their comfort, but also Maltese tend to be higher risk of hypoglycemia, so you want to always pay attention on check-in, look at the dog, and pay particular attention to looking at the color of the tongue and the gums. So the gums should be pink and taunt. If they're white or pale, that could be a serious health risk, and just the added stress of grooming could cause the dog to go into diabetic shock, hypoglycemic shock. So there's several health issues when they're getting elderly that you have to be aware of. And also the color of the tongue. So her tongue is nice and pink, but as an elderly dog stretches, especially if they have pre-existing respiratory conditions, which is quite common, or pre-existing heart conditions, which is also very common in elderly dogs. Elderly Maltese a lot of times get diagnosed with congestive heart condition. Their tongue, as they stress, will start changing from that nice pink to a little bit of wine color or bluish. So you want to take a break. And so you're really looking for the key signs in their mouth, their lips, their gums for any stress indicators. And also be aware of their breathing, that they're very comfortable. And one of the things that's nice about the Paw Mat is that this is orthopedically designed for dogs to stand comfortably. When we groom them, they have to stand usually an hour, 30 minutes, depending on the hairstyle. And that's a long time to stand in one place. Most humans I know that stand for an hour are very uncomfortable. So this is a nice mat, and it's designed specifically for that. And when it's an elderly dog especially, you'll find on a regular table surface, an elderly dog doesn't want to stand. They slip because there's no support, and their little back legs, their stifles are weak, their hips may be weak, and they start sliding and slipping. So you'll see that elderly dogs on the Paw Mat want to stand up because they're nice and comfortable, and it provides excellent footing to make them feel secure, but also gives that support and that cushion, so their feet are like on a cloud or heaven, so that they can stand up for the groom and they're not stressed and they're not uncomfortable. So I'm just going to run a brush over a little bit for this little baby. If I can lower this arm, there we go. The other thing I like to do, especially if I have a dog that possibly could have a collapsed trachea or congestive heart condition pre-existing. Elderly dogs, when I first try them, I'm going to always use more of a seatbelt method or over the shoulder rather than around their throat. So I just comfortably switch that for this little baby. And you find that you'll be able to groom just like normal. And that kind of lead positioning is what you want to use on all your elderly dogs as well as your flat face breeds. So I'm just using a number 1 comb here. And we're just gonna lower the table a little, maybe. Ah, sorry. I'm destroying somebody else's booth as I do that. So we're just gonna make a real nice, simple, little easy haircut here. When they're elderly, even even though she's on a nice orthopedic mat, they get a little insecure sometimes. So I found that the best way to support them so they're comfortable is to bring your arm through their rear legs. So when I do need her to stand, if she's uncomfortable at the time, that's how I'll try and encourage her. And then once I get her in position, I'll just do a nice little rub on the tummy real lightly. Use a very gentle hand. And then using A little mini clipper on a tiny little Maltese like this is very nice because it's not as heavy duty as using a full-size clipper. So it's gentler on their little bodies. Oftentimes they have arthritis and achy joints and bones and so forth. So we're just skimming along here. Oops. So that often happens, a little bit of a collapse. Very common for a little elderly dog. So we'll just be patient. And with elderly dogs, you want to work around them. So she wants to sit right now. So I'm just going to let her sit and let her be comfortable. Work on a different area. Move around the dog. Learn to work around dogs' issues. They're just like us. Some of them are elderly. Might be a dog that's not elderly, but maybe they have bad knees. Maybe they have bad hips. Maybe it's a scared puppy. So I always try to work with the dog, and I never force a dog to stand if they can't. I try and encourage them to sit when possible so that they're comfortable and so that they enjoy the grooming and they like coming back to me. Then they're going to leave much more happy, and parents are going to be happy. And they're not going to go home and be overly fatigued in any way because I made them stand up for an hour. So we're just going to go along here. And I'm going to do just a nice little cute head here. Kind of that kind of Asian-ish style is real popular right now, Asian fusion. So I'm going to just do a little unique style like that to give her a real cute look, make her young again. It's okay, Bailey. So I'm being very gentle as I work around the mouth. It's very common for an elderly dog like this to have bad teeth, so they don't like their muzzle handled much. So I'm going to go back a little bit and handle around the neck gently. Go through there. I'm just going to take this fairly tight to the end. And then on the chin part, for a little Asian style on this little geriatric, we're going to go real short. And that's what's nice about some of these Asian fusion styles is the chins are nice and short, which works perfect for an elderly pet because then they don't get that messy, smelly beard stain as frequently. I'm going to take it a little shorter. It's okay. But I'm going to allow her to pant. So I'm not closing her mouth. When her mouth closes, it's because she chooses to close it. It's very important that you let them have their mouth and their ability to breathe when they need to, especially with an elderly dog. And like I said, they'll be a lot more comfortable and they'll be a lot happier. They'll leave less fatigued than just doing techniques that you would do on a younger dog. You just shouldn't do those. You got to work with these little old babies. Huh, Bailey, Bailey, Bailey. Okay, can you look at the camera for me? That's a good puppy. So I'm just barely holding the chin a little bit. And I'm going to fluff this up. And then I'm going to take my thinning shears. Come here. I'm going to do a cute little style. Hey, hey. Watch out for the tongue. Just going to round this a little bit. Sometimes I'll just do like a section cutting, so she'll have her mouth and I'll bring it up like this with my fingers. That way I can get the length that I need and I can make it even, but I'm not risking her tongue getting trimmed because we don't want that. No trimming of the tongues. So I'm coming along the lip line here and I'm cleaning this up. So work on one half at a time. Very important to be patient and very gentle touch. It's okay. Baby. Her name's Bailey. Or Maisie. Are you Bailey or Maisie? Her mom had one that was Bailey and one that was Maisie. And I get them mixed up. So I'm just cleaning her stop out a little bit. You're so cute. You're so cute. Oh my gosh, what a baby. Oh, you're adorable. You're adorable. It's okay. It's okay. There we go. So just work really carefully. And we'll just do a little. Now I'm doing this side, and again, I'm going along the lip line. I want to shorten this because elderly dogs tend to suck on their hair. So this will keep her face smelling fresher. It's easier for the owner to maintain, and it'll look real cute too. So I'm going to, again, just grasp this. Come here, baby. With my fingers. A little bit. Allowing her to pant. And I'm just going to trim some of that. There we go. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. And come along the chin. And then the chin you want to make nice and short. And use thinning shears so you get a nice soft look. Comb very carefully and very slowly. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Oh, you're so cute. You can see that tongue comes out a lot. And that's very common with these old elderly dogs. Sometimes I'll get a dog that has lost its front teeth, so the tongue will hang down on one side. So I basically hold on to the tongue and do one side, then I'll move the tongue over and do the other side. So you kind of just have to learn to work with them. So in making this little round nose, it's going to make her look more youthful and cuter. So for her Facebook celebrity page, she'll look much nicer. Hi, little girl. Are you going to be discovered after this? Are you? Okay, come here. So we're going to readjust. Be very aware of where they are on the table because they will scoot back. Come here. So I'm going to take this side real short, and I'm going to leave the other side a little longer because, like I said, I'm doing a little bit of a Asian fusion style. That's what's fun about like Asian fusion style is one half of the dog doesn't have to match the other half. Necessarily, depending on what style. Woo, there's a lot of static in the air. So I'm really shortening this ear a lot. You can see the static in the air. When you have static like this, you can use static guard on your equipment, not on the dog, or having a fabric dryer sheet. You can rub the fabric dryer sheet on your equipment. The other thing with a lot of static like this, which I don't have actually, the fabric dryer sheet, but I'm just giving you a tip, is a Teflon comb. When you have static days, you want to use a Teflon comb. So we're doing like this cute little puppy ear here. We're just making it nice and soft. Come here, Mama. Come here, Mama. So once I get kind of the length I want, if you want a real even trim, do your section cutting also, so pull it up from your fingers. It's okay. And take your length off how you want. Shortening the length too will make the hair stand up more if you want it to stand and give it that volume. Less is more a lot of times.
How old is she?
She is 12, I think, her mommy said. Yeah, she's cute.
Really cute.
Cute little baby. I'm going to trim down here. Sometimes if I want to knock off a bunch of length quickly, I'll use my scissors first and get it down. Oh my, my, my. Do we want do a little shorter here? So you can kind of see that this side is shorter. And then let me get that. And this side's longer. And that's what's fun and crazy about some of the Asian styling. So even though it's a geriatric dog, they can have these fun young styles too, huh, little girl? We could be hip. We could be young, have these funky Asian styles. Makes you look younger. Wish I could do that. So having that shorter length there, trying to decide, you know what, I'm going to do it here. No. So I'm just going to put this in.
What about, what do you do with this shuffle?
So come here, look at the camera. So as you can see, if there wasn't so much static, what I did was this side is much shorter, and then this side has the long flow. So it's almost like a faux hair to the side kind of thing. So that's, again, what's fun about these newer, more modern Asian fusion styles is kind of anything goes. Just use your creativity and look at the dog and see what will be unique and special about that dog that will make him interesting. And then she's like ready for her own Facebook. Oops, 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 oops. She's like, what? Huh, see how special you look? She's like, okay, I'm special enough. Okay, and then I'll just continue the body, making her legs cute and manageable. Just like you would a normal dog, but again, keep in mind, work around her. So she's comfortable sitting right now, so I'm just going to jump to her front legs and let her continue to sit because that's what makes her comfortable. I don't want to stress her out. So even with her sitting, I can do my little parallel leg columns. So they don't have to stand to make a cute haircut. Good girl, it's okay. You're almost ready in the back. Except your ponytail's in my way. Good girl, good girl. And with these little geriatric dogs, it's a good idea to do like an express groom. However, sometimes it just depends on the condition. Other times, I'll tell the person, if it's a dog with a lot of times the congestive heart condition, they need breaks more frequently. So I'll let them, the owner know, you know, it will be better if I give her little breaks every 10 to 15 minutes rather than rush it through. Most of the time the client's idea is, you know, I want to get it in and out as quickly as possible. And with some elderly dogs, that is an option that you need to do. But it just depends. All of them are different. So you have to kind of evaluate on a case-by-case basis what is going to work best, what's the least stressful for that dog. Is it getting him through right away, in and out, and just going from one procedure to another? Or is it where you need to do a little bit and give them a rest, a little bit and give them a rest, and so forth? If it's the one that needs the break more frequently and throughout, it's going to take you longer, and you can't do kind of an express groom really, because you've got to allow that break. You've got to allow the water. Like diabetic dogs, they're going to need water, frequent water breaks and potty breaks and things of that nature. Can you stand up for me, little baby? She's like, nope, I like to sit. So I'm going to tuck her ear back there. That's a good girl. All right, what a precious. That's a good girl, Maisie Bailey Maisie. So I'm going to carefully take the lead off. Now some places you're going to have safety rules that you're working around where you need to keep a lead on the dog at all times. But I need to move it just to see in between her front legs. So I happen to work for a healthy spot, and we have really strong safety policies there to keep the animals safe. One of them is they have to have a lead on at all times. So what I do is I just move the lead back. That way she's still on a lead, and that helps anchor her. Even though it's not on her neck, even on her body, she knows that she's anchored, and she's less likely to back all the way off the table and hurt herself, even though she might back up a little bit. Mentally, she knows, okay, I'm attached to something. Where sometimes you might be tempted to take the lead completely off an elderly dog, and what happens is they start backing up, and because they're so wobbly, they can flip over backwards and fall off the table. So it's always better to be safer and take extra precautions. All right, little one. So I'm going to move this back this way. Her front end's looking pretty good. You're doing so good, little girl. Oh my goodness, can we stand up? Can we stand up just a little? Very good. All right. We're just going to move to your back end. Very good, little girl. Very good. Okay, so we're almost done. I just have to do a little bit cleanup on the back feet. And sometimes I'll get an elderly dog that if the front or the back end is up, the front end's down. And again, don't let things like that get to you. Just learn to work with them and have a, just think positive. You can still scissor the legs and do your shapes. If she were deciding to put her whole front end down and stick her butt up in the air, I can still make my lines, my profile lines around her paws and so forth. So let them position their body how they wish. But like I said, on the paw mat, it makes it so much easier because her little legs, her little arthritic legs aren't sliding out from under her. She has traction. And then the cushion of the mat is supporting those joints and bones. So she's going to walk away feeling a lot more comfortable. If they have sore feet too, it's like heaven to stand on. I have the person paw mat also that I stand on while I groom and also in my kitchen when I do dishes, because it's like a cloud. So I like having that on my mat for the dogs. Because as you can see, even though I'm kind of hurrying as much as possible, talking does slow you down. But it does take time, so why not make them as comfortable as they can be so they're happy and they enjoy the grooming and they're cute and adorable at the same time. At the same time. Good girl. Good girl. Okay. All right. I think that's a wrap. She says, I need a break, so I'm done. Can you look at the camera one more time? There we go. Beautiful.